All right. And thank you, good people, for hanging on to this episode of the Real Leaders Podcast with KT Overbey. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. KT, we had a few questions fly in during that conversation, and thank you to those who were following along. And I'm going to read the ones that have the most votes. So if you want to still type in your questions, do it in the chat box right there. It'll pop up for KT and I, and we can answer your diligent questions. Okay, first one comes in, and the question is, COVID has really shined a light on inequities around the world and has disproportionately impacted women. We talked about this as we rebuild our world, plus as a woman in an important leadership role. One, how do you think women can be engaged in this work? And two, how can we bring women to the forefront of decision-making so your services reach more people?
So, as we talked about a little bit, you're absolutely right. So, women, even before COVID, were impacted by this, in terms of challenges of vision, even more so. I think, as you look at COVID and you look at all of the different impacts, whether it be, people having to manage, on the home front as well as work, or because of the type of job that different people hold and whether or not that could be done remotely or not. Agreed. There's a much larger hill to climb. So I would say, again, we want to make sure that we're lifting up all those who are struggling, and particularly those for whom it is disproportionate. So that clearly includes women. I always love the opportunity to get people engaged in the solution, particularly when it involves them or someone like them. So as a female leader, for example, I love to mentor other women. Doesn't mean I don't love to mentor men, but I have a unique perspective that may be sometimes helpful to someone.
Certainly.
So I think that really ensuring that we are focusing on those who have been disproportionately impacted and making sure that we're directing our services there is completely consistent with how we're looking at our programming in the coming year. And looking for opportunities to get people involved. So as we open new vision centers, we always look for the opportunity to make sure that we are hiring at least a proportionate number of women, if not more, as a dual way to sort of reach out and provide solutions.
It's brilliant work you're doing. There's always more work to be done, of course, as we know. Now I'm going to go to Julie's question, and if Jess Link is watching, I believe that question's been answered. So let me know if you would like me to ask that. But let's go to Julie's question. And that is, what is your vision/goal into 2022 and beyond to take this to a higher level and bring in more support to gain the strongest impact and outcomes?
So I think there's a couple of things. So first of all, we are looking at how do we expand our footprint and our impact with the Sustainable Vision Centers. We've actually spent a lot of time in the last year. I actually call it the silver lining to the COVID cloud, because we had some people with a little bit more capacity than they might have otherwise. And we were able to use that to really look deeply at where might we go next. And so, we're excited to be building plans to enter new countries and hopefully provide vision care and access to care for millions more people. Our hope would be to, by the end of this year, we'll have provided access to almost 50 million people. And by 2025, we'd like to add between 20 and 25 million more to that number. So that's a part of it. We're always challenging ourselves to say, how do we go further, farther, faster? But at the same time, we also are continuing to try to build those partnerships. So get more people involved, make more people aware of what a big issue this is and the impact it can have. And as we bring people on board, that in turn enables us to help more people who need it.
And we're going to try to do our best as well to get this podcast out, folks. It'll be available on all channels Thursday morning on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. But KT, for the people listening to this right now, last words, any last words you have for them, as well as where can they go to contribute to OneSight?
I guess I would just close by saying, first of all, I would invite everyone to get involved. We love to work with everyone and be a part of the solution in unleashing human potential all around the world. So you can go to www.onesight.org for more information, or as I said before, onesight.org/engage if you'd like to get directly involved.
Love it. OneSight.org/engage. Thank you, KT, for coming on the show today, and everyone for attending. Again, folks, go to Apple Podcast, search Real Leaders Podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, YouTube, any channel you like to listen on, as this show will be uploaded on Thursday morning. That's it for me. Thanks for being a real leader, and always, folks, keep it real.
Thanks, Kevin.